Good morning, guys, and man, it is freaking bright out here. It's gonna be really hot this week, and probably hotter than it normally is over here in Washington State. It's gonna be like 115 this next week, so I don't know how much work we're gonna be able to get done outside, because obviously it's gonna be so freaking hot. Probably just gonna end up taking the week off. And I have been working in the background, guys. I've been actually tuning JR's car. He is gonna be coming and picking that up on Saturday. With it being this hot, I'm not too sure how many pulls or reactions you guys are going to get, unfortunately, because he does get here right in the heart of the heat on that day, and it's supposed to be about 100 degrees tomorrow, so that's when he comes. But we did get this thing all tuned, and we did push the limits for these head studs on this car. For those of you that don't remember, when we did the build on this car, it is a stage 4 650 rated short block, but at the time JR had a FP black, and he was trying to push to have stock heads, but I made him thankfully build the heads. We did BC 272s, definitely a smaller camshaft, and they still are a stock port with BC valve train and stock valves. But the downside here is it has 11mm ARP 2000 head studs, and that definitely held us back quite a bit. The car obviously has a 6466 on it now, and it is rotated. For those of you just tuning in for this thing, I'll go ahead and show you now on here. Open this thing up. The alarm is still on, so hopefully it doesn't go off on me. But just so you guys can see once this thing adjusts, we have an ETS rotated kit on here. We have a set of FIC 2150s, and this is, like I said, one of our stage 4 blocks that's rated for 650. So this thing did really good for power. I did push the limits like I told you guys, and I told JR, you know, at the end of the day, these studs really are rated for right around 500, 600, you want to really push it. But the car made 576, I believe it was. I'd have to look at the graph. It's either 576 or 586 on 30 pounds, and definitely some good power on there for that 6466. I did turn it up more. I gave him a couple hotter maps. One being 34 pounds, the car made 620, and if I remember torque, I want to say it's like it was like 560 on that. I'd have to take a look and let you guys know later on. But in the end, it made really good power. Head studs and head gaskets, this just being JE Pro Seals, are going to be what hold this thing back from making more. It did make a higher number, but we did see it start to push a little bit of coolant, so I went ahead and backed the car down. It did make just really good power. I'm going to leave it to that. I'm not going to say what it is. I'll let JR talk about it, but I'm really happy of how this thing turned out. It is on flex fuel. It drives like stock. Startups are like stock. Everything drives great. Now, the one last thing that we're going to change on this thing is we are going to change the exhaust. It has a Tomei titanium exhaust on it, and it is pretty loud for being rotated in a bigger turbo setup. So I worked out a deal with him to where we're going to trade our NVIDIA Q300 for his Tomei. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And with doing that, we are going to have to pull off this lovely diffuser. And JR kind of laughed at me. He was like, well, if you want it, you're going to have to deal with that diffuser. So screw you, JR. That thing's going to suck. I haven't pulled that thing off, so I'm not too sure how involved it is, but I'm sure it's probably going to be pretty involved if you tell me that. So we are going to be trading the Tomei for our Q300 off of Gray, and maybe there'll be some content coming on Gray soon. I don't know, we'll see. But I think I'll do a cold start for you guys just to show you. I'm not going to let it get too warm, because obviously I'm going to back it in and I'm going to try to pull that exhaust off. So let me fire this thing up. Now this is a completely dead cold start, but it is probably about 75 degrees outside. So let's see how she starts up for you guys. Now it's time to get this thing up in the air, and let's see just how difficult it is to get that rear diffuser off there, JR. This will tell me if I'm going to be very mad at you or not. So let's get this thing up, take that thing off. Man, look how much better it looks without the frickin' diffuser, JR. Got it off. Wasn't that bad. Honestly, it really wasn't. There's only 2 bolts in the back, 2 in the center, 2 clips on each side. That's really actually probably the easiest one I took off, so I guess you get to buy here, JR. That wasn't too bad. So now I can continue getting that Tomei off of there. Then I gotta go all the way out there. Since I'm not gonna be able to get that car over here because it obviously doesn't run, still has nothing in it, I'm gonna have to jack it up out there on the hill. That's gonna be sketchy because obviously there's no way to stop it. Might have to figure out something about that car, because if I jack up the rear, that's what's holding the car, because that's the e-brake, and then obviously it's gonna roll forward. So I'll have to figure something out with that. For now, I'll continue on this thing, and it is freaking hot outside already. Gosh dang it. Well, I successfully was able to get that Q300 onto JR's car and off of that one. I didn't record it because you guys probably yell at me, because not the safest thing to do, but we got it off of there onto here. This turbo kit, I have said it's an ETS kit, and that is true. The up pipe is originally an ETS T4 up pipe that's been modified later on down the road. This was Travis's old kit. Some of you will know who Travis is, obviously, if you follow the channel. And with that being said, he went to a V-band turbo later on, so they cut the T4 off of this, put a V-band on it. And with that, he had a custom downpipe made, because I had just sold him originally just the up pipe. So when he got the downpipe made, it was originally for a Q300 setup, and for whatever reason why, the Q300 does fit a bit different than the Tomei. Whether that might be JR had his Tomei when he put it together adjusted differently, I'm not sure. But it fits better now with the NVIDIA, but the problem was, if you guys look back at the first part of this build and us doing this, the downpipe was about that much short, and obviously we got it extended, so now when I put the Q300 on it, not knowing we were going to, it does stick out a bit more than you probably usually would, but it does flow really nice with the diffuser there. So I don't think it's actually a bad look. I think it works pretty well for the car. It does fit a lot better. It doesn't hit anywhere. I was able to get everything adjusted to where I was happy of it. So let's do the startup on it. Just changed the oil for him. Got his stupid freaking shield under there. Helps if I have the car unlocked. He has one of those really nice shields. Don't get me wrong, they're nice. Pain in the ass to work on. You guys know I hate the underbody shields. So I got that thing put back on for you, JR. Be happy, because I was going to put that in your back seat and tell you, you have fun. But that was nice. I got it on. So let's go ahead, fire this thing up, see what it sounds like with that Q300. Wow, it is so much quieter, guys. Wow. Take a look. Definitely, I think it sounds better, but you guys know I'm partial to the NVIDIA Q300 exhaust. They're my favorite, and some of you are probably going to be asking in this video, then why the heck did you trade for a Tomei? And the main reason behind why I traded for his Tomei is because I wanted the Tomei for Hyper Blue, and we all know what Hyper Blue is usually meant to do, and that's to go fast. And we have found a point where the Q300 does hold the car back, and generally, you know, that starts being around the 850 range, 800 wheel range. So you guys can get an idea of where Hyper Blue is going back again. So you guys know that's why I did get the Tomei. Did want a full exhaust in the car, you know, full street car. So I'm gonna get this thing off these jack stands. I'm gonna go drive this thing around. It's freaking hot. You can probably tell I'm freaking sweating like no other down here, getting this knocked out. And it's no joke, probably about 95, 98 degrees today. So definitely a hot one. Let me get this thing off these jack stands, take you guys for a ride with me in JR's car. We're gonna go drive it, make sure everything's dialed. Maybe I'll put E85 back in it for him. We'll see. Now I'm letting this thing just kind of warm up, and I mean, I know it's kind of a loose term since it's so warm outside. This shows you guys, I wasn't lying earlier, 94 degrees is what this thing's saying. It is outside, so it's pretty freaking warm. But we are gonna go through that drive that I promised you guys. Now, I'm most likely not gonna be, doing several pulls in this thing because it is hot outside, especially for this. So we're gonna go out, just do some tip-in stuff to show you guys. It is still on pump gas. I think, looking over to the side here, we are at about 10% ethanol, so it is completely pump gas. On pump gas, it made 512 wheel at 26 pounds of boost, so pretty on average there, pretty safe. Wasn't really trying to push it. I know he mainly uses the 85 anyways, so just gonna go drive this thing, let you guys hear it, see the drivability. I do have my window mount, so I'm gonna try to get that all set up for you guys, so that way you guys have some good footage of this. And let's try to hear this thing with the new Q300 on it, because she is so much quieter, much better. So let me try to get this camera set up. Now that's probably gonna be the best view I can get you guys here, but I mean, at least it's something for now. I know a lot of you guys mentioned before that you liked having the GoPro in the car and going for a drive and kind of having a talk. So let's drive this thing through here. I should have brought two so that way you guys could see me and we could kind of talk about how the car is doing and how we're driving. So I might go ahead and switch this camera view around for you guys, because I think you'll enjoy that more of seeing me talk to you instead of just the road. Now that's probably gonna be the best I can get with this camera mount, and I do have the AC turned down quite a bit so you guys can hear me. So just going through, drive this thing, kind of give you guys my feedback. And first, just starting out, I mean, the car has great power down low, driving itself, taking off. You guys can tell, I mean, there's not a lot of, bucking or anything like that going on. Since it is so warm out, I'm just tipping into it here. We're just getting up to speed. Speed limit's pretty slow around here anyways. So you guys kind of get to see all arounds of, how it drives, because I mean, 25 miles an hour is usually a pretty hard spot to drive in cars that are just modified. And on top of that, we have those FIC 2150s in here, and as you can see right now, I'm at 23 miles an hour, and this thing just drives like butter smooth. So definitely really happy of how this thing turned out and the drivability side. I did focus on that a lot for JR. I just want him to be able to hop in this thing and don't have any other different feel than it just being a production car that was built this way, supposed to drive this way, and you really don't notice that it has any of the mods. So that's one of the things with tuning. I know I haven't talked to you guys quite a bit about that, but I have been moving over into customer base on tuning, and I've done more cars I can count right now, to be honest with you. So that has been going awesome. I really do enjoy it. I like being able to take the cars and make them drive like they should have from the factory, or how they should from the factory. So that's one of my biggest things that I do focus on, is going to be the drivability side of things. And then it's always nice because you have power at any point you can always use, but not everybody uses power at every moment of every day. Most of these cars are daily drivers, and with that being said, you do have track cars here and there, but for the main majority of these cars that we modify, especially the newer cars, guys, I mean, we all know, and you guys know watching us, that it's probably your main transportation. It's how you get to and from work. You go out to dinner with your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other. Probably when us guys most worry and care about how loud our car is, how our car drives, and some of you, how much power it has. So that just kind of touches base on that. Just wanted to talk with you guys as we're moving along here. Like I said, we are kind of just cruising, getting out of the town here, go out to the countryside, and then I'll do some small pulls for you, just tipping into it. Since it is so hot out, I'm not gonna go do a bunch of pulls in this thing. There's just no point for it, and it's just hard on the cars, guys. So that might be helpful, and you know, to talk back and forth with you guys about that too. You know, when it is like 90 plus degrees outside, no, you should not be out there ripping on your car. You got to keep in mind, you know, the heart of these engines, of any engine, is oil, and your oil temps, once they get to, you know, a hot enough temperature, the oil loses the viscosity and obviously the protection that oil is there for. So that's a big thing, guys. So when it's this hot out, just enjoy that you have AC, which I'm sure most of you do, especially newer cars, and just kind of enjoy your car and cruise around. I mean, that is also the other point of, you know, focusing on the drivability side of things with tuning, is that I want you guys to enjoy driving your cars. You know, I don't want you to get in the car and, you know, you have to learn how to drive around something and relearn how to drive the car. You know, it shouldn't be that way. It should be anyone can get in the car and drive it like this, where it drives perfect. So that's my take on it. You know, I'm sure there's multiple different takes, and there's obviously many different tuners out there, and not discrediting any of them, but that's just my main focus and how I work. So now we're just kind of getting out here. Hopefully this is picking up the exhaust note for you guys. I know I could probably be more fancy and have different microphones and different cameras of that nature around, but unfortunately I just have the GoPros that you guys have pushed me to get, and of course we have our Sony A3 that we use not very much anymore, because you guys said you like the GoPro footage, you like how well it picks up the vocals. You know, one thing I have noticed a lot about these GoPros is when we're on our track days, they get rid of the walking shake that you guys always used to complain about with the camera. So that's definitely really nice. So I do enjoy the GoPros, especially for things like this where I can hook it up, set it up, and go out and drive. So I'm still getting used to it. I'm still growing for you guys. So I appreciate everyone that stuck by our side from the beginning, and I definitely appreciate all the new people that have come to the channel, just to kind of show you guys that we have grown. You know, obviously you look back, and anyone that starts a channel grows over time. So I'm gonna go ahead and tip into this thing, guys. Let you hear it. We're kind of getting out here in the country, so I'll go ahead and slow down. All right, you ready? Here we go. Guys, sounds like JR needs to do our transmission cocktail. Pretty normal on these newer 2019 plus transmissions. It seems like the fourth gear always is tight. We do have a cocktail for that would fix that. I'll tell you about it, JR, because I have noticed that this thing, if you go pretty light there, it grinds. So all in all, super happy with this thing. Happy of how, you know, power delivery, tipping into it, sounds good, drives good. Just wanted to go over it one more time, make sure this thing's obviously solid for him, and give you guys a little clip of this, kind of show you what that power's like, and definitely feels really good. I mean, especially for being 96 degrees now is what it shows, and AC's on.
fast lane. Life up in the fast lane, fast lane. And I ain't slowing down, I ain't slowing down, I ain't slowing down. Living life up in the fast lane. Pedal to the ground, pedal to the ground, pedal to the ground. Living life up in the fast lane. Life, throw you lemons, you just put them in Coronas, Coronas, Coronas. I've been working, I need that advance with the bonus, the bonus, the bonus. Ain't no thoughts about tomorrow, I'm just living in the moment, the moment, the moment. Full tank of gas and 200 on the dash, bitch, I'm zoning, I'm zoning, I'm zoning. Fast lane, living life up in the fast lane. Hey. Living life up in the fast lane. Life up in the fast lane, fast lane. And I ain't slowing down, I ain't slowing down, I ain't slowing down. Living life up in the fast lane. Pedal to the ground, pedal to the ground, pedal to the ground.